Hi dear students, in this presentation we will be discussing about small, mini and micro hydro plants. Okay, so I hope you are well aware of the normal hydro power plants. The normal hydro power plant consists of a dam which is having a very large holding capacity of water, and the head available of the water within the dam is utilized to run the turbine to produce the power. And usually these types of plants are of very large capacity and is producing a huge amount of power also, and a large area is required for storing the water, and it is having a lot of ecosystem problems also. നമ്മളൊരു ഡാം ഉണ്ടാക്കുമ്പോൾ വലിയൊരു ഏരിയയിൽ ഹോൾഡ് ചെയ്ത് വെക്കേണ്ടി വരും വെള്ളം. അപ്പോൾ അത്രയും ഭാഗത്ത് പിന്നെ വേറെ ഒന്നും പോസിബിൾ അല്ല, ഒരുപാട് എക്കോസിസ്റ്റത്തിനൊക്കെ ബാധിക്കും. ആൻഡ് വൺ മോർ തിങ് ഈസ് dams are large dams are not possible everywhere, not possible in any places, but some it is only possible for particular suitable areas only. There must be a large area covered by the hills and all, then only we can go for the construction of the big dams and all, just like one is there in Idukki. You might have seen that particular dam. That is one of the best arch dam in India. Okay, so anyway, as far as normal hydro power plants are concerned, they are of having very much initial investment, and it is not practically possible anywhere it is not practically possible in any places. That is the main difficulty. But coming to the small hydro plants, the main advantage is these are of small sizes, and of course it's not having very much big dams and all, so we can implement these things with low cost at anywhere water is available in a, even if the availability of the water is very less, then also we can go for such types of plants. That is the main advantage. So these are comparing the normal hydro power plants. These plants are of very small size, and of course expected outcome also will be very less. Okay, so hydro power projects rating less than 10 megawatt. See, if the power production from a particular plant, hydro power plant is less than 10 megawatt, then these types of hydro power plants are considered as the small hydro power systems. Okay, it helps for building the availability of decentralized power. So usually what the system is prevailing in Kerala as well as in India is, we will be producing power from a particular place in a large amount, and that is being distributed through the transmission lines to the various places. That is what is commonly known as centralized power production as well as centralized system. Okay, so in a centralized power production system, what happens is power is produced from a particular center, and it is distributed all over the country. Okay, that is what is happening. But by producing these small power plants in a lot of places, we can avoid that centralized power system, or we can shift to the decentralized power system, we can say. That will reduce a lot of transmission losses also. See, നമ്മളൊരു തമിഴ്നാട്ടിൽ നിന്ന് എടുത്ത് കറണ്ട് എത്തിക്കുമ്പോൾ അത്രയും ഡിസ്റ്റൻസിൽ കൊണ്ടുവരുമ്പോഴുള്ള റെസിസ്റ്റൻസ് കൊണ്ടുള്ള ലോസ് മാത്രം വലിയൊരു എമൗണ്ട് ഓഫ് ആണ് ഇലക്ട്രിസിറ്റി ആയിട്ട് കമ്പയർ ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ. ഓക്കെ, സോ സച്ച് ഹ്യൂജ് ലോസസ് വി ക്യാൻ അവോയ്ഡ് ഇഫ് യു ഹാവ് ദിസ് ഡീസെൻട്രലൈസ്ഡ് പവർ. നിങ്ങളൊന്ന് ഇമാജിൻ ചെയ്ത് നോക്കുക, നിങ്ങളുടെ നാട്ടിലേക്ക് വേണ്ട കറണ്ട് നിങ്ങളുടെ നാട്ടിൽ തന്നെ. അപ്പോൾ അങ്ങനെയുള്ളൊരു സിസ്റ്റമാണ് എന്ത് സ്മോൾ ഹൈഡ്രോ പവർ പ്ലാന്റ് ഒക്കെ വന്നു കഴിഞ്ഞാലുള്ള സാധ്യത. ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് വെരി ലെസ് nowadays, but still it is one of the promising technology, and gradually it is getting its demand. Okay, low head installation can be built everywhere in the mountain region, plains, or even sea level. That is the main advantage I have already told. These systems we can implement anywhere, even in mountain we can have such dams, such plants. Sometimes it can be in the plains, or even in the sea level also we can have such type of hydro plants. It is reliable, mature and proven technology. It is non-polluting and does not involve setting up of large dams or problems of deforestation and rehabilitation. That is the main advantage I have told initially itself. See, it will eliminate the problems of deforestation. The main problem with the large hydro power plants are a huge area is lost, or our ecosystem is completely destroyed by having such dams. Right now in Adirapalli, we are facing the same problem. If you go for a dam in Adirapalli, we will have a lot of imbalance on our ecosystem. That's why it is being protested. Okay, so such type of deforestation and rehabilitation. See, the a lot of animals are living within that area itself, within that forest itself. So it will be a huge problem if we implement a large hydropower plant. Then it will be a problem for the animals within that forest and all. So there is issues with the rehabilitation also. Even pupils are also facing, a lot of people has to leave their place and move to some other places and all. Okay, so such thing we can avoid, because we are not constructing in large dumps. We are simply creating small blockage for the water. We'll call it as, in what we can say is tadayana. Actually we'll call it in Malayalam tadayana, or bunds and all. Okay, we'll be constructing small bunds to just to stop the flow of the water, and slightly water level is raised, that is being utilized. That water head which is raised by blocking the water flow of the water itself is diverted through some other canals, and it is being used for producing the power, of course in a small amount, and after that it is left to the mainstream itself. Okay, depending on the capacity of the power generation, these plants are classified as micro hydel plant if the power produced is less than 100 kilowatt, mini hydel if 100 to 1 megawatt power production is within this range, and small hydel plant 1 megawatt to 10 megawatt. Or construction, everything is same for small, whether it is small hydel plant, mini hydel plant, or micro hydel plant. Only difference is based on the final power produced or the capacity of the plant. Okay, if the plant can produce power within the range of 1 megawatt to 10 megawatt, then it is usually known as small hydel plant. If it is 100 to 1 megawatt, then it is mini. If it is less than 100 kilowatt, of course it is called micro. Okay, so altogether mini, micro, everything is commonly represented by a word, that is what is small hydro plant. So everything less than 10 megawatt we will simply call it as small hydro plant. Okay, now coming to the components of this small hydro plant, you can see the basic structure here. The figure is not clear, but once I will explain, then the various terms written here you can read after that. So here we will have intake weir, we will call it as intake weir, that is one major component. Then canals are there to carry the water from the intake weir, and here we have a free bay for storing the water, which is carried through the canals and all. So here we have sand trap. Actually it's not the component, but the purpose is to just remove the sediments which are carried, large sediments carried along with the water. Initially itself we will be removing വലിയ കല്ല് പോലുള്ള സംഭവങ്ങളൊക്കെ ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ അതൊക്കെ അവിടെ നിന്ന് remove. Of course spillways are, you can see spillway here and here. So the purpose of spillway is to remove the excess water, or to allow the excess water to flow away. That is what is the purpose of spillway. So once the level of the water in the dam is of course of above the required level, then we will leave it to the we will allow it to flow back to the mainstream. That is what is the purpose of spillway. Then comes the penstock. Here comes the penstock. Penstock is a closed pipe-like structure of high strength and of course of large diameter also. So penstock will be carrying the water from the forebay. Here the purpose of the dam is eliminated by just creating a forebay. Forebay എന്നൊക്കെ പറഞ്ഞാൽ ഒരു just like a pond like structure, that's all. So just we will be creating a large area to hold the water. That is only forebay. It is not like dam and all. Simply a water holding area, that's all the meaning of forebay. From forebay the water will be carried through the penstock to the powerhouse. Within the powerhouse we will have the turbine as well as generators. Everything will be there inside the powerhouse, and the energy head available with the water. See, you can see small heads are always available with the water. This much is the head available. Of course the powerhouse will be at a bottom level, and the forebay will be at a particular height. The vertical height difference is usually known as the head available for the water. So this much head, that kind potential energy of the water stored here is converted finally into mechanical energy within the turbines. So any type of turbines can be used. Preferably Pelton turbines are not used. Pelton turbines are used if the head available is very high, then only we can go for the Pelton turbine, otherwise we will be going for reaction type turbines. Okay. So coming to the various components, I have added some figures for your clear understanding. So during exam it is not possible to draw these figures and all, but still you can at least try to draw this figure if SHP is being asked for the university exam. Okay. So once I explain, you can it will be clear for you, I think so. Water is taken from the river by diverting it through an intake weir. So that is the first component. Intake weir is the first component of the SHP. Actually, weir means intake weir means it is a barrier across the width of the river, or we can simply call it as a low head dam. Okay, just I have already told, we are just obstructing the flow of the water and we are creating a barrier across the width of the river. You can see it here. This is the barrier across the river. Just an obstruction. Usually these barriers are done with the rocks and all available from within the river itself. We will be creating that obstruction. Okay. So if you create an obstruction for the flow of the water, of course we can expect a small rise of water within that region. Here we will have a more water content compared to the other side of the that obstruction. That small obstruction is usually, or barrier across the width of the river is commonly known as weir. See, actually the purpose of the weir is to take away the water from this weir to the area where we are producing the power. അപ്പോൾ ഇതൊരു തടയണയാണ്, ജസ്റ്റ് ഒരു ബ്ലോക്ക്, ഒരു തടയണ പോലെ ബണ്ട് കെട്ടിയിരിക്കുകയാണ്. അപ്പോൾ ഇവിടെ കുറച്ച് വെള്ളം കൂടുതൽ കിട്ടും. അപ്പോൾ ആ വെള്ളത്തിൻ്റെ ലെവൽ കൂടുതൽ കിട്ടും. അപ്പോൾ ആ വെള്ളം കുറച്ച് പൊന്തി കിട്ടിക്കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ നമുക്ക് എന്ത് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റും, ഒരു കനാൽ ഉണ്ടാക്കിയിട്ട് ആ കനാലിലൂടെ വെള്ളത്തിന് എന്ത് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റും, വേറെ നമുക്ക് എവിടെയാണ് പവർ പ്രൊഡ്യൂസിൻ്റെ ആ റീജിയനിലേക്ക് കൊണ്ടുപോകാൻ പറ്റും. So you can see from this figure itself, these types of power production is possible even if the quantity of വാട്ടർ അവൈലബിൾ ഇസ് വെരി ലെസ്. ചെറിയ അരുവികളിൽ പോലും നമുക്ക് എന്ത് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റും, ഇത്തരം പ്രോജക്ട്സ് ഇംപ്ലിമെൻറ്റ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റും. ഓക്കെ, ഇതിൻ്റെ ഒരു ഹയർ വേർഷനാണ് എവിടെയുള്ളത്, ഇവിടെ ഇരിട്ടിയുള്ളത്. ഓക്കെ, now coming to the next common, okay, now we have got the enough quantity of water by constructing the weir across the river. So we have produced that small head of water here. Now the next one is, next main component is known as a lead. Okay, in a medium or high head installation, water may be first be carried horizontally to the forebay tank by a small canal, that is what is known as lead. So lead is the second component. Actually lead is a small canal like structure. Okay, the purpose is to carry the water collected at the weir, and we will be carrying that collector at the weir through this lead to the forebay. I have told forebay is a temporary forebay is actually a collecting area or tank like structure where we can hold the water. Okay, so from here, this is the intake weir. Intake weir is usually constructed within the river itself. Across the river we will be constructing a small barrier, that is what is known as intake weir. So slightly the water level will be raised, that means now water will be able to flow through this canal. This canal is actually known as a lead. Okay, small canal which is carrying the water to the forebay. So now the water from the river is diverted at this point and it is actually taken through this lead to the forebay where we will be holding it for the power production. Okay, so next is lead, and the third component is of course forebay. Before descending to the turbine, the water passes through a settling tank or forebay. We will call it as this large holding area is usually known as the settling tank, or simply it is called a forebay. Forebay, in which the purpose of the forebay is actually, we know that along with the water there can be a lot of sediments also. So everything is to be settled before going to the turbine, because if sediments are there along with the water which is going to the turbine, it may cause problem to the turbine. That is a big problem. So the pure water only is to be allowed to flow into the turbine. So everything which is coming along with this water is to be settled. That is what is happening within this forebay. How it is getting settled is, we will be reducing the flow velocity, or we will make the water to settle here itself, or we will be blocking the velocity, or we will be storing the water here. That means there is no flow of the water within this forebay. So velocity is reduced means of course the larger particles will settle out. That is what is sediment settling. Okay, The water passes through a settling tank or forebay in which water is slowed down sufficiently for suspended particles to settle out. Forebay is usually protected by a rack of metal bars, a trash rack which filters out waterborne debris. Okay, so along with this water, there can be lot of um, other pollutants like plastics, even wood, everything will be there. So we have to remove all these things before reaching to the turbine. So usually the forebay will be protected with a metal bars or ട്രാഷ് റാക്ക് നെറ്റ് വെച്ചിട്ട് ഇരുമ്പിൻ്റെയൊക്കെ നെറ്റ് കെട്ടിയിട്ടുണ്ട്. അപ്പോൾ അതിൽ വന്നിട്ട് തട്ടി നിന്നോളും ഇങ്ങനത്തെ മരങ്ങളെയും അങ്ങനെയുള്ള സാധനങ്ങൾ ചപ്പ് ചവറുകൾ അങ്ങനെ വരുന്നതൊക്കെ അതിൽ തട്ടിയിട്ട് നിന്നോളും. സോ കണ്ടിന്യൂസ് ക്ലീനിങ് ഈസ് ഓഫ് കോഴ്സ് റിക്വയർഡ്, ബട്ട് സ്റ്റിൽ ഫോർബേ ഈസ് ഹാവിങ് metal bars or trash rack for removing all these debris. Okay. Now the next component is of course penstock. So depending on the power production, we will be carrying the water from the forebay to the powerhouse, and it is being done through a large diameter pipe. Of course, either it is steel pipes or of concrete pipe. We will call it as penstock. Okay, so a pipe, a pressure pipe or penstock. Why we call it as pressure pipe is, see inside this one the pressure will be there since it is a closed pipe. In case of weirs or canals, of course the atmosphere pressure will be acting over the flowing water, but here once it flows through a closed circuit, then what happens is pressurization will be there. Okay, that's why it is called a pressure pipe. So a pressure pipe or penstock conveys the water from the forebay to the turbine, which is enclosed in the powerhouse together with the generator and control equipment. So within the powerhouse we will have the generator and control equipment. So water from the forebay is carried from the forebay to the powerhouse using a pressure pipe, which is known as the penstock. So this is the next component, and the main important component of the power production of course is the turbine. In the powerhouse, turbine converts the potential energy of water into mechanical energy and rotates the shaft of the turbine. This shaft is connected to the electric generator to generate electricity. This conversion of the rotary motion into electricity by cutting the magnetic field and all, you will be knowing. So by connecting the shaft of the turbine to a generator, we can produce the electricity. After doing work on the turbine, the water was returned again to the river through a special channel called the tail race. So once the power is produced, the left out water is diverted back to the mainstream. That is what that passage is known as tail race. Okay, so no water is lost here. So this is the main advantage of using such power plants. Okay, so here these types of plants are possible anywhere, wherever we have the small availability of water, just like streams of water is available, we can go for such types of plants. So there is no need for constructing big dams and all. We are not obstructing the flow of the water also to a larger extent. So ecological issues are also being solved, and but with 10 or 15 such plants will be equal to a small power plant, of course hydropower plant. Okay, normal hydropower plants. So lot of such plants are to be implemented to have a huge power. Okay, but as far as decentralized power production is concerned, this is the best way, and most of the countries are now promoting these types of power production because this is the cleanest one and there is no such issues like other thermal power plants and all. Okay. Along with this slide, I have added normal hydroelectric power plant also. Those who are interested, they can go through this. A lot of things are there coming. If hydroelectric power plants are concerned, that is not a simple one. It is of course a huge one, and of construction, everything is complicated, and a lot of issues are also there with this one. So I have added these things into the science, but it is not there in your syllabus. But I don't know how it is being asked. So those who are interested, you may please go through that slides also. Okay, thank you.